Yo, peace. What it do? This is your brother Jay International tapping back in once again in the heart of nature with a beautiful horse right behind me. And in this video, I want to give a tribute to the brother, the elder, and now the ancestor, Kevin Samuels. I want to give a tribute to him because he had an impact on my life personally. And this is what I'm going to say. You know, I just found out about this news last night. And from last night until the present time, Eastern Standard Time, there's been a lot of, different views going on amongst Twitter, on YouTube, amongst different individuals, different YouTube personalities, just people on social media. And you got some people that they're grieving, they're sad, they're feeling pain that he has transitioned. And then I've also seen that you have other individuals that are praising his transition, his death. And understanding the reason why they're doing it, just because they didn't agree with what he said, or they also say they didn't agree with his delivery or his tone. They didn't agree with, I want you to look at the horse right there, it's beautiful. That's Churchill. They didn't agree with his tone. They didn't agree with just his overall subject matter. And what I have to say to that is that when I look at, when I listen to some of their grievances, what I find is a lot of those grievances are individuals that were praising or kind of celebrating his passing. They didn't have really valid reasons to dislike this man. And often when you ask, okay, what didn't you like about him, or what didn't you like about his message or what he said, they will often come up with basically excuses, or they would just lie. They would totally lie and take out of context the things that he said throughout the years. They would totally take it out of context, or they would just blatantly lie, give a straw man argument. Well, this is how I feel about it. I've watched him before he blew up. I was watching him when he was more involved in the black manosphere, when he was on panels with other YouTubers, in discussions with other YouTubers. I watched him before Fresh and Fit blew up. I watched him when he was with O'Shea Du Jackson, and in other videos with the likes of Alan Roger, I think that's his name. I watched him in other forms. This was way before he blew up, when he was still in Oklahoma, right? And I stayed watching him when he moved to Atlanta, Georgia. So, and I would watch all his videos, like not all, but a majority of them. I would watch him all the way to the end. That's what I meant to say. I wouldn't just take, bits and snippets of it, and say, okay, I would watch it from the beginning and I would watch it to the end, right? And over all those years of watching Kevin Samuels, I cannot say that I found anything I disagree with. So I'm hearing people that even when they give him praise, then they say, oh, well, it was some things, even though I didn't disagree with him, or I didn't agree with everything he said. I'm sorry. I didn't agree with everything he said. I didn't agree with all his talking points. You hear that each and every, like, I've heard a few people speak on it, and each time they talk on it, they always say, well, I didn't agree with everything he said. But this is what I want to say. Usually those individuals that say that, they didn't listen to all his message, because I cannot find something to disagree with throughout all his years, even if I didn't like it. Let's say even if I didn't like the way, or I won't say necessarily didn't like it, but even though if it was harsh truth, if it was harsh in your face truth, I can't say that, oh, well, I didn't always, I didn't. So here we got this is Gypsy right here. She's coming to say hi. And we got her partner, Churchill. He's coming to say hi. But I can't say, for me, I can say this. Even though his message was harsh at times, and to some individuals, it was never harsh to me. I'm a type of individual that I like the hardcore truth. Give it to me straight. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't try to make it more nice or more pleasant to my ears. Give it to me straight. Because when you give it to me straight, it has more of an impact on me. If you want to tell it to me nicely, oh, you should do this. Oh, well, maybe, you know what? You're effing up. You're effing up with your life. You're not working hard enough. You're not putting in enough hours in. You need to get off your lazy ass. You need to get your fat ass in the gym, and you need to get to work. That's, when you give it to me like that, it has more of an impact on me. It has more of an impact. And I have an individual in my life like that he, even though, same thing. I may get upset that he giving it to me the harsh truth, but it is the harsh truth, and often it's not what you want to hear because this individual doesn't agree with you. They're not agreeing with, your BS, as this individual I'm talking about in my life, he doesn't agree with my BS. He gives it to me straight and he tells me, no, you are the one effing up. You are the one that you were wrong in this. You letting your emotions get involved, right? And this is who Kevin Samuels was when I heard his message. When he said stuff like, at first in the beginning when he was talking to black men and he was saying, hey man, you guys need to step up, you would have these guys call into his program, and they would talk about, I'm only working 30 hours a week. I'm only working, part-time, but I want me this type of high-class woman. Or I expect this type of high-class woman, but I'm a lazy-ass dude, right? And he would say, no, if you're not working at least 60 hours a week, then you need to step it up. You need to step it up, bro. You know what I'm saying? And if it's a guy out of shape, hey, you need to get in the gym. You need to get a personal trainer. You need to really do something. You need to if you're in this type of career, this is what you need to be in. Stop wasting time. And when he would give that message to you, he would give it to you harsh and straight and direct. Cut, no chaser, straight, no chaser. That's the type of individual he was. And that's the type of, you know, the view that I have on him and his delivery, right? And when he would talk to the women, when he stopped really talking to black men, as he had been talking to us for all those years, and he really switched his focus to start talking about, talking to the sisters, right? Well, he would be just as blunt with them as he was with us. And the thing is, even though he was so direct, the sisters, the women would still call him. That's what blew him up. That's what blew him up. His directness, his straight chaser, straight to the point, mess delivery. That's what made women want to call in and tune in and watch him to what he was doing. And he had positive stories about what his message had done to certain individuals. You have people that met each other because of the group that he created. You got people that took that information and they applied it in their life to fix their relationship. You got people that that had repaired their message. And another good thing that he would always say was, like, you would have certain callers, right, that would call into his show. And these individuals, they may have children. They may have one child, two children, three children, right? And he would basically say, hey, why are you not with the other parent of those children? And they would say, oh, they would come up with, oh, well, we just didn't get along, or, whatever the cause is. And aside from domestic abuse or, physical violence, if it was just some disagreements, right? And often this person would call his program and ask for his advice on, like, basically getting back out into the dating market and trying to find somebody else with being a person that has children. And he would try to influence them. He would try to say, hey, he would try to say at the end of the day that there ain't nothing out there. The grass isn't always greener on the other side, and particularly in the current dating market, the grass is not greener. Modern times, the grass 9 times out of 10 is not greener. So he would tell this individual, hey, you need to try to make it work with this. If you guys can make it work for the sake of the children, then you guys need to make it work for the sake of the children. If you guys need to, whatever arrangement that you guys have to make, you guys need to come together and make it work for the children. And that's the type of message he would give. He would tell the sisters, hey, if you out of shape, and you expecting this, as he called, a high value man, making over 6 figures and is 6 foot tall, 6 foot plus tall, and in shape, and attractive, and he has his pick of women, and here you are, you're overweight, you're 200 plus pounds overweight, but you think that you're entitled to this type of man. You need to really wake up and smell the coffee. And oftentimes these same type of women would overlook what they consider the average guy. They would just basically shit on the average guy. And that's true. I've seen it. I have seen it. These women would basically, I'm entitled to this high value guy, but they would shit on the average guy because they feel like, oh, well, this average guy isn't on my level because of my education, or because he's a blue collar brother. He works at the, he's a plumber. He works at the factory. or he works, he works in waste disposal. They will often look down on the blue collar guy, you know, because he doesn't have that title, whilst going after what they perceive to be the high value guy. And he would talk to these women and say, hey, you need, that's not right. He stood up for the blue collar brother. He stood up for the blue collar man. He never talked down on the blue collar man like that. He would stand up for them. He would say, he would talk to them. You know what I'm saying too. And so overall, his message to me was one of empowerment. And if you really listen to what he had to say, he gave a lot of good game. He gave a lot of good information that if you listen, you can apply it to yourself, male or female. As I said, it was one thing he said about working 60 hours in a week, is that if your paper ain't right, if your money ain't right, you need to be at least working 60 hours a week. And I took that to heart. I'm like, okay, I'm only doing 40. I need to step it up and do another 20, because my paper ain't where I want it to be. And so that is the message that I, took from Kevin Samuels. And that's why I wanted to do this tribute video to him, because, of the impact he had in my personal life. I feel like his message had a impact in my personal life, and that's why I wanted to do this tribute to him, because all I'm hearing is a lot of, I'm not hearing people just say, hey, I agree, I like Kevin Samuels, but I didn't agree with everything he said. Or you hear the other side of it, oh, well, I'm glad he's gone and he was a misogynist and he was this. No, he was not. He was none of that. He just people nowadays, in these times, this is not like the 1950s and the 1960s and the 70s where you can just give it to you raw. That's why when you look at a lot of the comedians from that time period, Red Fox, Richard Pryor, people like that, they were very raw, because even Eddie Murphy in his stand-up, in his classic Raw, at that time, they were very raw because you can be raw. You were in a society where you can just be raw with it. And now we're in a society where you cannot be just raw. You gotta cater, you gotta tamper down your message and your delivery, because for the sense that in the case that you might hurt someone's feelings. And that's the type of society that we live in now. We live in that type of society where you just can't keep it real. You can't keep it 100. You can't just be raw and uncut, for the fact that you might hurt someone's feelings. You might make someone feel bad about, themselves, even if you're telling the truth. Even if you're telling the truth. That's what Kevin Samuels represented to me, right? That hard, uncut truth. If I'm effing up, tell me I'm a F up. Don't tell me, oh, well, you're not as good. No, tell me I'm effing up. If I'm an asshole, tell me I'm being an asshole. If it was my fault, tell me it's my fault. Don't sugarcoat nothing with me. And that's what Kevin Samuel did with male and female. And this is why I wanted to create this tribute video to him for all the work that he did for me personally, and the information that he gave me in my life from me watching his videos and listening to his message. So with that being said, I'm in the heart of nature. I'm about to get out here and enjoy this nature. I just woke up, that's why my eyes looking like this. I had a great meditation, and with the incense and the frankincense, you light it, the little charcoal. You put the charcoal and the frankincense in, so that's why I'm kind of looking like, you know, I'm high or whatever, but I'm not high. I'm just high off of having a nice meditation session, you know. So I'm about to be, you know, come out here, chill with the horses. And with that being said, this is your brother J International, tapping back in once again. Like, share, and subscribe. I will holler at y'all later. Peace.